back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this part 2 of my Garden to Die For series. This is Bear. I know y'all wanted to see more and more of the herd. This little boy, we call him Little Bear, sometimes Baby Bear, and he likes to do a wiggle dance to Baby Shark. Yeah, he's super cute. Kind of a brat sometimes, but he is adorable. He goes in and out, and he helps me in my garden. You can see a little tail over here. I'm going to try to hold the camera still because he's helping me this morning. So, part 1, we did the Stitchy Talk, and now we're going to go on to the dyeing process. So, in this video, I am using the RIT dye. And it was my first time trying these techniques, and I hope you enjoy the process with me. I had some cool results, and we're going to be doing this again quite a lot, because once you try this, even if you're chicken like I was, try it. It's really addicting. So let's get on with the results of the RIT dye process, and Bear's going to watch with me. Aren't you, buddy? Enjoy it, pumpkins! Okay, everyone, so I decided to face my fears of dyeing fabric. I've never even dyed like a t-shirt, no tie-dyeing, nothing like that. I have a friend who does, and I just have her dye stuff for me. But I decided I was going to try, and I'll take you along the adventure with me to show you what I did. Hopefully, well, we'll see. I stayed up far too late watching a ton of videos. So I went to RIT Dye's website and was watching a ton, and I'm like, okay, this isn't so bad, I think. Little confused why they use salt and other people don't, because then I was online and looking at other people's, like Farm Girl, Michelle, Flosstube lady. She showed us how to dye fabric, and I kind of liked the way she explained it better than RIT. Sorry, RIT. So, Michelle, I'm trying your techniques. So wish me luck. I hope I make you proud. And we're going to see. So I have my glasses on today to make sure. See my lovely little leopard glasses here? Woo. Just to make sure I have, safety in mind. So I want to protect my eyes. I have on old clothes. I have on this really adorable little t-shirt. I love my t-shirt. It's a little cat drinking coffee. Anything black cat, again, I love. And especially when we bought this house, it sounds crazy, I wanted things that had cats and coffee for my kitchen, and I wanted a teal kitchen. So I'm in my kitchen right now. You can see it is teal, and behind me, look at this right here. Cats and coffee right there. This is by Ryan Connors, which is Kilkenny Cat's art. And you can find her on Etsy, but I have several prints of hers, which is cats drinking coffee, and I love them. And it's all the colors that are in my house. And I have several more of hers, as well as some original paintings, because I'm just a huge fan. So Ryan Connors, look her and her adorable whimsical folk art prints up. And of course, it's a black cat, so again, had to have the whole black cat thing. I'm going to try. I've got everything set up, and I don't know. We'll see how this goes. This could be the first of many, or the first and the last. We'll see. We'll find out in just a few minutes. So, fingers crossed. So I'm all set up. I have my stainless steel bowl, my lovely rubber gloves that are mismatched, but hey, they will do. I have a couple of glass bowls. I have 2 because I'm going to do 2 pieces that I will put in here and hopefully model with some black. Oh, we shall see. My teaspoons are ready. I have my hot water ready, and I have 2 dyes. I have the pearl gray as well as black. I want both of these pieces to be gray, one hopefully a little darker than the other, and then I want to use the black to model it, because these are going to be for some Halloween cross-stitch pieces. I do have these. I have 2 different colors of fabric here. This is Ada, 14 count, and I have no idea how well these are going to dye. And there's already like a little bit of dye or something that got on this one. Don't know. Doesn't matter. So we're going to see. Obviously it's going to take the color a little differently, be a little different shades, and I have no idea how they're going to turn out, but we'll find out. I did sew the sides so that it wouldn't completely unravel while I did this. And I washed all the sizing out. So these are still damp. And we're going to see how this goes. So I'm going to go ahead and put the first one in. And actually, well, I kind of want them both dyed the same, I guess. So I'm going to put them both in. We'll find out if that works or not. And I'm going to start with just the gray dye. This is the pearl gray, and I have my lovely cup of hot water there. And this is a teaspoon. So we're going to start with a teaspoon and see if I need to dilute that, or maybe add a little more. And wow, that almost looks purple. That's interesting to me. So I'm going to stir this up. I don't really have too much to test it on, except I have some washcloths. So I thought I could just like dip in a little bit. Ooh, wow, ooh, look at that. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, we're leaving that right there. And I'm gonna go ahead and just pour this, oh, look at that, over it. There we go. So that's a cup, because I don't think it's going to need like tons and tons. Obviously the one that was all white really, oh, look at that, that quickly took the dye, and that's actually a really good start. My only concern is that this is wet, so it looks like a nice, almost not quite a medium shade, but getting there. But I can't say that it's going to be like that once it's dry. It's definitely going to lighten up. So that's okay. But look at this one. This one's just like gross, is kind of what that is. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wring both of these out and stick them back in my bowl. Because, you know, we can always dye this again. I'm going to put the used bit, there we go, spilled a little bit, that's okay, back into here. And you can see it definitely took the dye up. This is lighter than it was before. But I'm going to go ahead and do another, maybe not quite a teaspoon, into this. And we're going to see how doing this again might, I'm going to just try the one piece, just the white. It was white. See if doing that will make it a little bit darker. The truth is, I might need to go ahead and add a little bit of black to this. But that's, ooh. Alright. That's not a bad shade. Like I said, that'll go lighter. But that's not a bad shade. Alright, so I'm just going to plop this other one in. This is the one I think is definitely going to need some of the black. So you can see this is the white and this is the ivory, and this is almost like an ugly green. I don't even know. So what I'm going to do, I definitely want both of those to be darker, so I'm going to pour this back in to my handy dandy little cup, and I'm going to add a little bit more gray. There's no scientific qualifications to this lick. Use a teaspoon for this, for that. I am just winging it, kind of a wing and a prayer, which is kind of how I seem to do the rest of my life. And this isn't even, I'm going to try to do like a quarter of a teaspoon. Like, it's tiny, just the tiniest amount, tiniest amount of black. And before I go any further, I'm going to put these back on. Because I have cats, and I really don't need a cat to jump up. And I don't mind this being really, really dark, because I want, especially the ivory one, I might have to almost make it black. I'm going to put that one back in. Alright. And I'm going to use this darker. Ooh, it's definitely darker. The darker shade on that. Now, for the design that I want to go on this one, I don't mind if I even had a little bit of ivory to show through, because the design, it's a Halloween design, but there's a little ivory on it. So it wouldn't actually look really bad to have it kind of, with a little bit showing through, and I kind of like that. Look at that. So it's a little lighter on this side than this side. It's probably where I originally put the dye in. That's kind of cool. I wouldn't mind that to go a little darker. Let's let that sit. I'm just gonna sit that in there for a minute. Maybe that'll soak up a little bit more. And I'm gonna put the white in here. And that definitely went a little darker that time. And I think that's pretty good. Like I said, that's gonna go lighter when it's done, but I like that. And that's okay if that goes a little lighter. So, yeah. This one, I'm gonna work with this one for a moment. I am gonna let this one with the ivory go a little bit longer. So I'm gonna just sit that bowl aside for a minute. And I definitely have, you know, dye water all over, but that's why we have old washcloths. That's okay. I've covered my surface with plastic in this old table, so it's not gonna hurt it. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bunch this up. Michelle at Farm Girl, you'll know her as Farm Girl, Flosstuber, had this idea, showed us how to do this. So I'm just gonna bunch that up, just like that. There we go. And while that is sitting there, this is the ivory one, and it is definitely a different shade of gray. That one's more of the pearl gray. This is more of like a beaver gray. But I like that. I like that look. So I'm just gonna bunch this up. I'm not gonna fold it over, but I kind of want all of those little wrinkles. So I'm gonna put these side by side, just like that. And I still have my dye. I'm gonna go ahead and pour this back in because I'm gonna keep using this. Now I'm not gonna add any more gray. I'm going to add another full teaspoon of black. I'm a little nervous. Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and test it right here. Oh my, that's black. So that's pretty cool, but, well, I might water that down a little bit more. So I have an extra cup, 4-cup holder over here. I'm gonna put 1/3 of a cup of water in there. Let's stir that up. I love the different shades of gray that gave me, which is perfect for the different designs. And I'm gonna test that on my old wash rag here. It's kind of neat. I don't know if I want that for the lighter gray, but it's kind of taking on the tone of this darker, what was ivory, but is now more like a beaver gray. So before I add any more water to dilute this for the lighter gray, I'm gonna go ahead and take my little teaspoon and I am just gonna drizzle this. I feel like I'm icing a cake or cookies or something. I'm gonna drizzle that over. And hopefully this is going to give me a really interesting mottled look. I have no idea. This is how I've seen it done, and you guys of course make this look oh so easy. Not that I have a clue as to what I'm doing, but you make it look easy. So I'm gonna squeeze it a little bit and just open that up. Ooh, ooh, it's kind of cool. And look at that. Now you can see there's modeling, I hope you can see it, on there. And I think that's actually a pretty cool start. I kind of think I want it darker, a little bit darker. So I'm just going to bunch this up again, just like this. Bunch it back up to put it in here. And I'm not going to keep going with adding too much more water to that. I am just going to use, I'm going to pour it in this other bowl that I had these sitting in. There we go. And I'm just going to add a tiny bit of dye, of the black dye, to this. And see if that won't make it a little bit darker. Like I said, I don't want giant black splotches like a Dalmatian. I don't want that. I do want a little bit darker. And looking at that, I want to go a little bit more. Ooh, Okay, that's a little much. Let's back that off. Maybe another 1/4 teaspoon. So altogether, I probably added like another almost half a teaspoon to this. And you can see that's a lot darker. And I'm gonna just do a couple little blotches. And I'm gonna let that sit. Let's just let that marinate is what we're going to do. So this was the darker one. I'm gonna go ahead and set that aside. And this was the diluted black. A little bit of gray from the original, but the diluted black. I'm gonna dilute this one a little bit more. So I'm just gonna add some more hot water to it. Another 1/4 cup. And I am now gonna do the same thing. Now this was the lighter gray. And I'm gonna just put this on here, and it's, I don't know, like putting this on, it's almost, it's kind of a little purple-y on there, which actually wouldn't be bad. I'm okay with that. And I'm gonna go over here and sneak a little bit of that really, really dark, and just do maybe a little bit more. A little bit of a sprinkling of this on here. I love that I'm acting like I actually know what I'm doing, because I don't have a clue. Okay, let's see. So here's the one that's been sitting. I'm going to just squeeze that out. This was originally the ivory. Ooh, I think I'm going to leave it right like that. And if you look, it's now like that dark, almost like a brownish tint to it, gray, and it's got the nice modeling to it. Again, this is going to be for Halloween design. So I'm really happy with that. Okay, I'm going to just drape it over the edge of the bowl here and let that start to dry. And then I have the light gray that was more of a pearl. Wow, okay, so that definitely took the splotchier, the dark. It made it a little bit more splotchy, but that's okay, because again, this is going to be on a Halloween piece. So I'm going to stop that right there. And let's just put this back underneath here. I know I need to rinse these out, and that might take out, you know, a little bit of the color while I'm doing this. Yeah, you can see that the water is changing, so it's taking out a little bit, and that's good. Because again, I like that this one's a little bit more of a pearl gray, and the other one's a darker shade. That did better. So there we go. So I'm really excited for how these two turned out, and wow, guys, this is kind of addicting. I can see why you do this, why you might want to dye your own fabrics, and because let's face it, it's really expensive to buy the dyed fabrics. And if I can do this with just plain white or ivory and dye it myself to match my pieces, I'm kind of excited about this. So there's the lighter, and there's the darker grays, and I think we have a win. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna go rinse these out, and I think we're gonna get started with the next color. I think blue's next. Don't you think? Okay, so this is going to be my second attempt at dyeing cross-stitch fabric. Now I have two pieces that I've already washed. This one's about 12 by 18, and you can see I've actually gone ahead and I sewed the edges down so this wouldn't unravel while I was doing this. And so I washed them in hot water. This is another piece, it's 12 by 12, so that I can get all the sizing out. I can't get all the cat hair out, but I gave up on that a long time ago. This smaller piece, I want to make more of a sky blue, and it can have, I don't know, a little bit of an aquamarine, maybe a little teal, not sure. But it's more of a sky color. And then this one, the 12 by 18, I need more of a night sky color. So I'll probably let this sit and dye for a little bit longer, and we'll see. This is like a rich medium shade of blue, hopefully. Will work out. And so as you can see, I've got all my equipment, including my lovely mismatched gloves, but hey, they work, and a stainless steel bowl, and my RIT dyes. I've got aquamarine I'm going to use for the lighter, a little bit of royal blue, because I definitely want these to have a little bit of modeling to them, and possibly I might add some of the black to the darker shade, the night shade of blue. And I have bowls that I can't really mess up, and I have covered my surface with plastic. So hopefully I won't dye myself too many shades today or the rest of my kitchen. And I also have my lovely cups of hot water so that I can mix things together. So I'm going to start, they can actually both start with the first dye bath. I'm going to just leave them both sitting in here. I'm going to start it with the aquamarine. Now this, I've got a cup of hot water. I'm going to start with a teaspoon of dye, and we're going to see how that, ooh, now that's beautiful. I can't help myself because blue is just, blues, teals, my favorite color in the whole world. So that is stunning. That is really stunning. Now, I'm not sure, wow, how deep that's going to be. So I have this old wash rag. You can see I've actually tried it. Used it to test dye, another project. So I'm going to just use the edge of that. Look at that. That's actually really pretty. And of course, when you wash it at the end and let it dry, it'll be a little bit lighter. So I like that. That's definitely going to work for the lighter shade of blue. Oh my God, it's so pretty. I'm totally geeking out over how gorgeous this color is. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, that's a stunner right there. All right, do you see that blue? Do you see that? Like, I'm done. Like, right there. That's all I want. That is, wow, that is perfect for the lighter. And it's okay if it's not, like, totally dyed through. I think it's actually going to come out pretty even. Couple little colors here and there. I might add a little bit more, maybe a half a shade darker and sprinkle it on in a minute. So I'm just going to let that sit for a second. Now this one, I'm just kind of starting to use this. Wow, that's gorgeous. This has got to go like twice as deep a blue as what I have right here. I definitely need this to go a little darker. So I'm going to go ahead and squeeze this out. Whew. I am going to pour my dye back into my little glass cup, measuring cup. There we go. And I'm just going to add, I don't even know what I'm adding, a quarter of a teaspoon more, just a hair. Now that is just because I'm going to take the smaller piece, put this back in, and you know what? I lied. I'm going to bunch it up. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to take this because I want a little bit of modeling to this, not a lot. It's a pretty busy pattern that's going to go on this one. This is going to be like a Christmas pattern, so I want like an icy blue, that's great. But I kind of like a little bit of modeling. It gives your fabric a little texture. So I like the wrinkles. I'm leaving the wrinkles. And I'm just kind of sprinkling that over a little bit. Squeeze that in and see what that, I don't even think you can really, maybe a little bit. I don't know. Can you see it? I'm not seeing a little bit of variation, but not a lot of variation. So I'm just going to gather this back up. Leave it just like that. Let's add a little bit more dye. So I added another quarter teaspoon. I'm going to put another quarter teaspoon. So it's like an extra half teaspoon to the original dye. And we're just going to drizzle that around. Like I almost want to just let it, like, can you just fleck it? Yeah, like little flecks of color too in there. And we'll just do a little drizzle that way. Okay. So let's take a look. There's not too much to even try to wring out. So I don't even know if I'm going to get much modeling on that. A little bit, but not a lot. Which I'm kind of okay with because I really want to make sure this doesn't get too much because it'll get too busy for the design that I have in mind for it. So I'm just gonna squeeze this out and let it sit aside while I work on this other one. So this one though, this needs to go way darker. This is a great start to that. But whereas we use the aquamarine to get this nice little Easter egg, almost a robin's egg blue, I'm gonna add some royal blue to the dye bath. Because I really need this to go, I don't need it to be a navy, but it needs to go darker. Woo! Okay, note to self, don't spill that. In fact, because I'm pretty clumsy, I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna stir this up. You can definitely see the difference in color. We're just gonna go for it. I'm not even gonna test it. We're just gonna put this on and put this in. So I'm just gonna scrunch this around. And this is cool. And I can let this sit in here and I know it'll absorb some more color. I mean, that really is a beautiful shade. I might even sprinkle a little of this. I am sprinkling this onto a little, the one I did already, because why not? A little bit more blue to that one. I really need this darker. And I think that the dye color that I have, it'll go a little darker, you know, as I let this soak, but not enough. So let's pour this back in. This is all one big experiment anyway. Okay, we're going to add, I'm going to do another teaspoon because I want a lot of color to this. I'm going to add another teaspoon, and that's the royal blue. And stir that up a little bit. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to test this a little bit. See, that's pretty, but that is still not even close to what I need it to be. So we are going to use some of the black. I don't think it needs a lot. We're just going to guess here. Ooh, maybe, what is that, a quarter of a teaspoon? We'll see. That's pretty dark. I'm a little concerned it's going to go purpley, but a little bit of a purple hue wouldn't actually be that bad. I'm actually just going to dye it right over top of what I already have. That's interesting. Okay, that's starting to go a little bit better. So we're going to take this big piece, put it back in the bowl, and let's start, yeah, that's definitely doing better. Adding the dye back to it. Now the original design had a really, really dark blue, and I don't think I need to go that dark because there's a lot of black stitching on this. There will be. And I'm kind of excited because this pattern will have some glow in the dark color as well. Okay, I want this to be, that's beautiful, a hair darker. Just a little. There, let's squeeze that out a little bit. And you can kind of see how the original to what this one is now. So two different looks going on here. And this is pretty, but yeah, I want a little bit more. Tiny bit. Tiny bit more. And I'm going to use a little bit more of the black. Just a tiny bit more. Like another, okay, little much. Just want about a quarter teaspoon, not half. So let's stir that up. Let's put the cat back on so I don't wear too much of this. Okay, let's try this again. We're gonna pour this on. Ooh, yeah, I like that. Like, I really like that. That's cool. That's pretty. Because you have to remember that this is going to get a little lighter as it dries, so I don't want this to get too dark or too light. It's hard to find that middle ground and trying to realize that it's going to get lighter as it dries. So I think this might work. I think that's pretty awesome. It's a lot more of a night sky, and then this one's like a really crisp winter's day. Look at these together. They're gorgeous together. So I'm gonna go rinse these out and hang these up to dry, and then later on we'll come back and show you how these turned out. Wish me luck. Okay, everyone, I thought that you would appreciate the laugh. I don't have a place, I discovered. Once I was finished dyeing my pieces of, this is Ada fabric, I didn't have anywhere to put them, and that kind of is a problem. You should probably know that before you start. And it's too cold and windy outside today, so I couldn't hang these outside. And I didn't want to dye my shower, so I'm in my kitchen still, and I brainstormed. I grabbed a couple of coat hangers and these really cute little clothespins and clipped on my fabrics. So there's my grays and my sky blue and my night blue and my teal Keurig. I love that. And anyway, have to have coffee. I decided we have this old stove, old fan hood that came with the house. Someday we'll replace it, but for now, the lip of it is perfect to hang coat hangers and hang my cross stitch pieces. It's a good thing that I'm doing some small stitches right now because I definitely couldn't do this with large stitches, but hey, where there's a will, there's a way. I think I came up with a pretty good solution. What do you think? How do you hang your pieces out to dye? As you can see, I'm not the only one excited about the dyeing process. Monster. Hi, buddy. He's decided to help dye. So the first set of videos was about me using the RIT dyes, and it is so much simpler, incredibly faster to do it that way. And we'll keep doing that over time, although in the springtime we will be doing more natural dyeing. And I will show you those steps in just a moment because those really are a lot more complicated. It took a lot of time. It was worth the experience of doing it. And Monster, really? Yes, I love you. I love you, buddy. Monster is the best boy. He adopts the kittens that come in the house and acts like big brother / mom. And he is just a sweet, sweet boy. But sweet, sweet boy has his butt in the shot. And I need you to move. So, come here. He's now on the camera. There. Just say hi. Just say hi. He's purring so loudly. Come here, buddy. Come here. Okay. So I'm going to hold on to him for just a second because it might be the only way I can get anything done. This is why I usually shut the door and keep him out. Right, buddy? Yes, buddy. Yes, I love you. He is so adorable. Oh, until something falls over and he almost kills me. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to take advantage of the time while he's off. So with the RIT dye, I tried to do 2 different types of gray and 2 different types of blue, and just on this camera to see if it showed up any better. These are really pretty together. It's like I wish I could do a cross stitch with all 3 or 4 at one time. Here is the lighter gray. And thank you, Monster. Come here. You are such a pain. You're lovely. Yes, thank you. You're wonderful. There we go. So, we're going to use him. There is the light gray. And then we had the darker, almost a beaver gray. Again, these are for Halloween things. Really beautiful colors, though. I'm happy with how they turned out. And I like the modeling. You can really see it there. And then... Hi. Yeah, I love you. I do. Then we had this beautiful blue. And this was made... Thank you. With aquamarine. I'm going to use your tail right there, like a hanger. Can we do that? And then the final one, which is a grayish blue, very medium shade. In this light, it's looking more gray, but it's really kind of a steely blue. There's a part of me, thank you, Monster, you can be my little table, that might use this and over dye it. Over dye meaning dye it again, put another color over it, maybe a little bit more truer blue. What do you think? Monster. You're just like, as long as I can rub on it, it's a pretty color. Is that a pretty color? Thank you. So we're going to try it with that. That being said, now that we have these done, let's go on to trying this process with plants. And thank you. Thank you. If Monster will let me, I'm going to go grab my book so that I can show you the book that I used to do this with. Okay? Thank you, buddy. I lied. Yeah, I know. I said that this was going to be the part where we do the natural dyeing process. However, with all of the complications of my computers this week and basically killing my system and only being able to do this by the skin of my teeth, I already split this into 2 parts, kind of the whole flossy stitch talk, and my lovely husband coming on and little special furry guest in the first video, the part 1 to this video. And now we've gotten to part 2, and I was doing the dyeing process, and we did the RIT dyeing process, and I was going to go right into the natural dyeing process. That's going to have to be the next video because I just don't want my system to have to crash again and go through all this chaos. And it's kind of long. Like, this video is about a half hour, the next one's about an hour to doing the natural dye process, so it's a lot longer. I will tell you that we are going to do more dyeing videos in the future because what I just did with the RIT dye was very basic. It's just, you know, I'm starting out, I'm new at this. I want to do more because I know there's like a little bit more tie-dyeing type effects and scrunching effects, and then you got the ice dyeing. Looks pretty cool. No clue as to what that is. So we will figure that out together. And my dear hubby from the last video, Jack, I'm going to make him dye his fabric, and we're not going to do the natural dyeing. We'll use RIT dyes for that, but I am going to make him do his own dyeing fabric, because let's face it, I'm just going to throw him into the deep end, and we'll make something fun for his avicorn and my avocado cross-stitch patterns. So I'll make sure to record that, because he's a big sweet weirdo, and that's just going to be fun, right? So please like this video, subscribe to the channel so you can keep getting more fun videos with all of us, and stay tuned for the part 3, I should say, of this little video series, and that will be using natural flowers for natural dyeing.